cleared. Do not die.
UK migrant happened today. What? Stab. Girl stabbed in the throat by a UK migrant happened today. What? Stabbed in the neck in daylight. So arresting a 30-year-old man on suspicion of attempted murder shortly after the assault. Officers detained the shirtless suspect near a police vehicle. Authorities are increasing patrol. This shit just happened. There he is. Damn. What a surprise. And this was literally an hour ago. This was today. You can check the Reddit comments where they ban everyone. Oh no! Yikes, the footage has gone a tad viral on X. It's brutal, the poor girl. And yes, the suspect is someone who could set off more riots if the girl had died. I don't think it matters. I don't think it makes a difference. That's a short article. I can guess who the attacker might be. And you're right. This kind of violence seems to be happening every day now. Here's what's funny, is that it's been happening every day for probably 10 years. The reason why you're hearing about it now, imagine like there's an entire sewage system. Nobody is letting any of it out because, oh my God, if it gets out, then people will realize how much this whole place smells like shit. But then Elon Musk went and he opened the pipe and he let people on Twitter express what they really think. Imagine this fucking barbarian is running after you with a knife and he's stabbing you and trying to cut your throat open. And knives were banned in the UK, by the way. Well, then how did he have a knife if it was banned? Well, then how do people have knives? Guys, it's the same thing with the ninja swords. You don't need to get rid of the ninja swords. You need to get rid of the ninjas. It's the people using them. There is apparent footage circulating of this, and I urge you not to. Don't watch it! Don't watch it! Similarly, there are photos of the alleged attacker. Don't look at the you don't want to look at. Oh my God, what is wrong with these people? Some girls fighting for her life in the UK state says be careful what you watch and share. You only care about censoring what's happening in the country. People are realizing this and it's not normal. Here's the official government demographic data from the area the stabbing is reported to have taken place. The north of Burnley has been completely colonized. 84% of people are Asian British, or Asian, well, 84%. And Pakistani? Yes, obviously. I mean, this guy's not from Japan. I don't think I've seen a single one of these people that have been going on these knife rampages that are from Japan. I haven't seen a single one from Korea either. I don't think I've seen one from China. They're intentionally not making a distinction. I also think that this problem will be solved. The people in Europe have the option to solve this problem with somebody moderate or with somebody else. The next person after that isn't going to be asking for deportation. There's no world that we can live in where there are random barbarians, shirtless barbarians with knives, running around trying to stab and cut the throats. This is not sustainable. We all know this isn't sustainable. Everybody knows this, but for some reason, people don't want to talk about it.
Now that you've seen what the Bureau can do for you, it's time you did something for the Bureau. We're looking for geological information on various planets. Please explore these planets and send us the data you collect.
The time has come. Finally, we can see what the team at Fun Selector were cooking all these years with their latest and most anticipated game, Over the Hill. By the videos and little shorts they released, we knew this was something special. But after playing this for 4 hours, I can tell you, this is a masterpiece. I wasn't sure about the low poly graphics at first, but everything ties in so nicely to provide us with the atmospheric feeling I can't really explain. But let me try anyway. The game starts you off by explaining a few mechanics about the game, which takes about 4 minutes, and then you are off. No objectives, no tasks, no contracts. Alone or with your friends, it is up to you how you tackle this game. This is your playground, and you can do what you want to do. I never felt so lost in nature in any game, so at peace and so zen. The game does provide you with those cozy surroundings in terms of nice color palettes, amazing ambient sounds, whether it's flowing river or wind gusting between the trees, it's all really calming and peaceful. The world building is top-notch to encourage discovery and exploration, with plenty of points of interest scattered around the map. You can either follow little dirt tracks or find your own way through the woods by carving your own path. There is no right or wrong here. One way or the other, you will get rewarded by either bumping into the animals you need to photograph to complete your collection, or you will find an upgrade for your truck, or maybe just a nice POI, or a really beautiful vista. This game encourages you to get lost. Go out there and see what you can find. And when you find something, there's most definitely something on the horizon that makes you go, "Ooh, what's that?" As me and my friends constantly pointed fingers and saying, "Oh, look over there," as we made our way to the next discovery. At one point, one of us saw a meteor falling out of the night sky as we set out to find it where it crashed. Later we found out there was numerous of these unmarked locations and there is a specific way of finding them. As I mentioned, there are no missions, but there is a map that is covered with a fog of war and plenty of collectibles. Each map will have numerous points of interest, upgrades, scenic points, cabins, and everything else to unlock. There's also merchants where you upgrade your trucks or buy new ones. The first map we played on had 3 trail courses to complete, each one with an increased difficulty. There is even a mission to recover stuck vehicle and take them from one place to the other. To be honest guys, there is no shortage of things to do. The trucks we got to play with, we had 3 out of 18 available at release. We had a Land Rover Defender, we had a classic Chevy Blazer, and a Toyota Land Cruiser. Each had a different handling characteristics and engine sounds, which was very, very cool. You can customize those trucks how you want them to make them unique to yourself. You find those cosmetic items in the world by exploring. Mechanical upgrades are purchased using pebbles, which is a in-game currency you get for exploring maps and finding different locations. Every upgrade makes a massive difference, whether it's more powerful engine, race suspension, better tires, or snorkel. You can also equip your trucks with consumables like a campfire for you and your crew to rest and skip time. You can choose planks to place on the ground to pass crevasses and gaps in the terrain, or other consumables like portable winch, jack, or a repair kit. All of you can have different purpose in your crew by equipping your trucks differently. Talking about winches, the game handles winching similar to SnowRunner. You can auto winch to a nearest point or select any point of your truck to connect the winch from. What it does better than SnowRunner, it lets you extend and wind up the winch, similar to Expeditions. And it lets you connect multiple winches to any object, objective, or vehicle. You can even daisy chain your trucks. It is really well implemented. Some missions or objectives require all of you to work together to achieve things. The trucks also have automatic transmissions, but you can toggle to a manual shift and manually change the gears. And then there are also low and high gears to tackle the terrain. Talking about terrain, it is easy at first, but then you get to some really technical climbs and challenges later on in the map. Whether it's deformable terrain or a swamp, you always need to carefully choose your route to overcome it. To be honest, the more difficult it became, the more we enjoyed ourselves in the game. And it's not rage-inducing difficult. If you roll down the hill like I did, it feels fun, as you cannot wait to get back up there and try a different approach. The most challenging trials award you with vehicle unlocks, so it's always super rewarding to complete them. The game features a full night and day cycle and dynamic weather. Driving at night is always very cool as it's pitch black and all the comfort you get from your headlights. The world sounds different at night too, just like it does in the real world. There are loads of cool places you can get to in this game, and all I personally wanted to do is take a bunch of pictures. There's an awesome photo mode from the pause menu, but even more so there's an in-game photo camera, which you use to photograph animals in the world. The first map has 10 animals, like grizzly bear, moose, eagle, and so on. You get more currency if you get a good angle of the animal, as it gets added to your collection scrap. These animals are not marked on the map, so it's up to you to discover them. There's also your cassette player, which at this stage gives you 4 genres of very suitable and chill music, with each genre having multiple tracks to it. Whether you want ambient or upbeat music, or switch it off altogether, the choice is yours. Whatever you explore in multiplayer is transferred over to your single player file and vice versa. Literally everything just makes sense and works in this game. There are going to be 2 regions on the release, Canada region called Valhallas and Algeria map in North Africa. The one we got to play is the first map in the Valhallas called Emerald Lake, with Gimli Ridge and Asgard Mountains being locked until full release. I thought it was a small portion of the game, but the map is quite big and it will take you a while to explore and collect everything. There was also a ferry that could take us to wetlands, which is, I'm assuming, the other part of this map, but that was also locked in the demo. The sheer scope of only one map is really impressive. Ultimately, I am lost for words. I know it's just a demo, which you can, by the way, experience for yourself right now. I expected to like this game, but I didn't expect to like it so much. This is everything I ever wanted from a game like this. It rewards exploration, it makes discoveries fun, it's everything expeditions could only wish for. It's a feeling I haven't had in a game for a while now. This game is a masterpiece, and I'm not even exaggerating. I cannot wait for the full release. Thank you, Fun Selector, for developing this gem. The wait is definitely worth it. But what do you guys think of this game so far? If you haven't, go try the demo right now, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Over the Hill news. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the testing facility, apprentice. Feeling confident? You'll see this is pretty straightforward. First the cognitive test, then the physical test. Just go through the door on the left and keep going until you wind up in... I know what you're thinking. This is crazy, right? I told you it would get physical. Now, you're gonna need to hold the crouch key if you want to get out of this room. Alright, it's good you didn't let that last part stop you, because now you're in for a little more sport. The nice part is you won't have to think anymore. Congrats, Junior! You've earned yourself the title of Novitiate. Basically, it means you'll be a better asset to the company if we give you more freedom. Accordingly, the Corpo interface of your personal computer is now unlocked, allowing you to join or fund a Corpo. I'd advise you to select your associates wisely, or fly solo if there's no one you can trust.
Hello, traveling worker. I am contacting you on behalf of the Republic's Corporation Desk to confirm that you are now legally bound to a corpo. This affiliation does not affect your ongoing arrangement with the company. You are invited to visit our branch office in Helicom and pick up your first corpo request. We have a variety of available requests submitted to the Corpo Administration Desk by prestigious clients.
Hauling freight across the state line.
In anticipation of your visit, farewell.
Start to shine.
G'day, Jibaji crew. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. And your family's having it well. Alright, we're going to take a look at another feature of the 1.60 update. We're in the 1.60 beta update at the moment. Doing some testing. And this one is the new sleep, or mandatory sleep and rest break feature that they're telling us about. And basically what that is a lot of people are confused about it, and I must admit, so was I at one stage until I read a little bit more about it and worked out exactly how it works. Now, the reason that they've put it in there is it actually adds way more immersion to the game in as much as it makes it more realistic because of the laws and regulations of having breaks and mandatory sleep or rest in different parts of the world, like the US here, because we're in the US with the APS, but also USA, Australia. The laws are slightly different for the amount of time you can run before you have to have a break. So it does add that much more realism to it. Now, what I'll do is, before I do, don't forget to subscribe if you can. If you haven't already, it's free and it really does help me out. Give me the thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down if you don't, and also share it with a friend if you think they'll get any benefit out of this video. And I would really appreciate it if you did that immensely. Alright, so let's take a look at where the settings are for this first. So we go to System and then go to Options and we go to Gameplay. Now, it's in the same place as the mandatory breaks simulation or sleep or what they call it, fatigue. That's right, it was fatigue or something like that. So what you've got now is you've got rest state simulation and mandatory break simulation. Okay, and the brief descriptions that they give you, for example, the rest state simulation, they're saying, when enabled, you will experience the effects of fatigue over time. You will need to rest to recover. Now, that, to me, that sounded exactly the same as the fatigue simulations, no different. And then you've got the mandatory break simulation. When enabled, you must take regular breaks from driving. Avoiding mandatory breaks will result in traffic offences. Okay, so what's the difference between the two? Well, here, where you might have to put your maths skills to work, and I'll try and make it as brief and broad as possible so you can get an idea. Okay, so rest state simulation, it basically emulates the rules about the hours you can drive, not the concurrent hours, but the hours that you're allowed to drive before you have to take a break, right, or have a rest. Sorry, have a rest. So you can drive for, I'm pretty sure it's, actually I've written it down somewhere, let me have a quick look. Alright, so in the US, you can drive for 8 hours before taking a 30-minute break. Okay, or 30-minute rest. Okay, so by using this rest state simulation, you can actually rest for just 30 minutes or half an hour. Or I think the minimum is an hour. So you can act like you would in real life. So if you're driving for 8 hours, you've got to take a mandatory rest break. for 30 minutes. So you can do that with this simulation. So if you turn that one off, okay, this is mandatory, and I'll explain what that is in a minute. This would then just become every so often you can stop and rest, and you can adjust the amount of time that you rest for. It's not the mandatory 10-hour break or whatever it is that you're supposed to do. It is just you can adjust it to whatever time you want. So again, like I say, for example, in the US you can drive for 8 hours and then you have to have a 30-minute break, and then you can drive again for say up to 6 hours before you have to take a mandatory break. But I'll get into that later. In Australia, for example, we can in Australia drive for 5 hours, and then we're required to have a 15 to 20 minute rest. So you could do, I think you've got 14 hours in total that you can drive in 24 hours. So you could do a 5 hour stint and stop for 20 minutes. And again, you can adjust the time, and then do another 5 hours, stop for 20 minutes, and then you can do 4 hours before you have to have your mandatory break. Okay, so I don't know if you're getting the idea, but I'll explain it and show you when I get into the game again. So that's the rest state, all right? So the rest state is just like you would in real life. You've got to take a break or a rest every so many hours, and then you can continue on for ever so how many hours it may be before you have to take a mandatory break. So therefore, your mandatory break, if we were to turn that off and just have mandatory break on, it means you can drive for example, in the US you can drive for 14 hours in total before you have to take a 10-hour break, and it has to be a 10-hour break after that 14 hours, or else you get hit with a fine, if you get what I mean, after 14 hours. But if you have both of them on, okay, you'll be able to drive for, like I said, here in the US, which this game is, you could drive for up to 8 hours, and then you have to take a 30-minute break. I hope that was all confusing, because it was to me at first, but it really is self-explanatory if you get what I mean. So I've got both of them on to show you how this will work. Let's pop into the game. I'll probably have to fast forward time to show you how it works, but let's get in there and see how it is. Here we are right now at a rest stop. Now if you have a look down the bottom in the right, you will see that you have a bed and you have a pee. No, you're not having a pee, you're not going to the loo, the toilet, right? It's a P, which means park, I'm guessing. The P stands for park, which means that's your mandatory break. So you have to take a mandatory break, as you can see down there in the bottom right, after 14 hours. Okay? The bed symbol is the rest, or the rest period, when you've got to take a rest period. So that shows you your fatigue state. It will decrease as you drive along. For example, I will now fast forward the time. There's, what time is it right now? It is 8:14. Okay, so let's increase the time by, let's go to 12. Okay, and then we get out of there. And as you can see now, the time beside P has decreased to 10, meaning that we've used up 4 hours of our drive time. And the bed symbol, I don't know if you can see it very clearly there. Let me get it into a position where you can see it. There. It's actually decreased slightly. It's hard to tell with that. With the widgets, put a background on it so you can see it. There we go. That's better. Right, so yeah, now you can see that the bed symbol has decreased by a certain period of time. Okay? So it's telling me that the mandatory stop, or the mandatory break, is 10 hours away. Okay? And if you're using this as if it was in real life, after 8 hours you'd have to take a 30-minute break. Okay, so let's go up 8 hours. So now we want to increase it by 4 hours so that then becomes 8 hours. So let's see. Have I got that right? Let's find out. Yes, that's correct. All right, so if you were going by the using the mandatory, sorry, not the mandatory, the rest stops that you have to take after 8 hours, now you would be required to take a rest stop. So what we shall do is this. We shall get the trigger to trigger. Hopefully I can get the trigger. And it doesn't look like it's going to be just a bit of pain. Trigger. Okay, I'm going to drive around and come back and get it to trigger for me. It's always the way. It's called Murphy's Law. Oh, there we go. Okay, that triggered. All right, so now let me show you how this works. Stop. Press enter. And there we go. This is the new system. It's showing me that the mandatory break is in 14 hours? If I do 10 hours. Okay, so if I do this, okay, as you can see, I've got to take a half-hour break. I can't take a half-hour break because it only does it in 1 hour increments. So I go 1 hour, okay, and confirm that, and then away we go. And you can see now that once I add that 1 hour, it will mean that in 4 hours and 54 minutes, I must take the mandatory break. I hope you're following me. So we'll confirm that. And now we only go to sleep for 1 hour. And we'll wait. And it means that if this was a real life situation, we've now done our rest break by law that we're required to do, and that we can continue on the job. And therefore, we're not breaking any real laws in real life, if you know what I mean. Again, I hope I'm explaining it correctly. So, in real life, you can travel for 8 hours and you have to have a break or a rest for 30 minutes. We're going to say 1 hour. And so now we've done that. Now we can continue on with our job without actually increasing the time by 10 hours every time we take a rest. Because that can stuff your job up, meaning you'll end up late and therefore you'll lose money on the job. But by doing it this way, by having it so that you can take your rest and increase your time, you can then go on without having to do the 10 hours just so that you can get there. So, for example, if we were, at the moment, we've got 5 hours here. If we were 6 hours away, I could stop here and take another, say, 2 hour rest break and therefore increase my driving time after it. You get the idea. It's sort of hard to explain. But anyway, so you can see now that I have increased my fatigue level, decreased my fatigue level by looking at the bed, and I've increased my driving time as well. Hopefully you get the idea. So, now if I was to continue on, and by the way, you can do it just so that it's one or the other. You don't have to have both on. If you just use and you want to just use the mandatory ones, like we've done in the past, where you have to stop for 10 hours to get your sleep back or your fatigue levels back up, you can do that. Or you can just do the rest one, where you can just stop every now and again for an hour. That way you're not wasting time with sleeping for 10 hours and you won't be late on your job. I'm hoping I'm explaining that. I think it's great. I think it works really well. I can see situations where you might want to just use one or the other, and I can see situations where you want to use both for realism. And that's what I'm doing right now to show you how it works. Okay, so let's now increase the time again. it's given me 2 hours. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, 21. And that way we'll be able to see what happens when we run out of time. So you can see again that the fatigue has gone down, meaning that I'm getting tired. And as you can see, the mandatory break has gone down because, again, of the consecutive hours that I'm driving. So now, let me just get back so it's not moving around. So now, as you can see, once that 59 minutes runs down, see how it works. Should start getting forward, get out of here. Oop, and then brake back on. And now it's going to turn off. I want it to turn off so I can see. Okay. We'll drive along and see what happens. It should start giving me warnings soon, telling me that I'm tired. There we go. Exceed driving time, mandatory braking, find a parking spot. So it's telling me I have to find a parking spot. Now, I can do one of two things here to show you what happens. Let's do this. I'm going to end up hitting the sign. Yep, it's okay. It's just for demo. Alright, so we'll go back here. Now it's asking us to find a place to rest and have our mandatory break. Let's see what happens if I don't take the mandatory break. What I do is... Let's take a 1 hour. Let's take a 2 hour and see what happens. See, now it's telling me I'm not complied, meaning that I'll end up getting a fine because, and so it should, because I'm sleeping for 2 hours, but I should be taking my mandatory break. Let's see what happens. I'll probably get it. Oops. Might help if I put it in the right gear. And start it. Okay. See, drone time, you should find a place to rest. That song back again. Okay, it may take a little while for it to happen, but we should get a mandatory fine. I'll drive up the road. But even though the fatigue, now as you can see, I've got plenty of time before I actually need to rest in as far as the rest break, not the mandatory one, but to the rest break, I've got plenty of time, but I haven't reached, I've overdone the mandatory one. So we should get a fine very shortly. It's probably going to make me a liar now. See the driving time without mandatory break. Find a okay. Let's see what you can do. Give me a warning. Now it's of course it does the dozing thing and everything. You do doze off. I've just because I've been skipping ahead, it skipped over the dozing part. And not only that, because I've rested. Yeah, no, that's true. Because I've rested, as you can see, I'm not fatigued, but I've got to take my mandatory break. So I should get a fine, but I won't doze off. So it is working as you should, because I'm not fatigued, but legally I I am required to take my mandatory break. Come on, don't make me a liar. Give me a fine. Oh, did I have fines turned on? Find out. No, on my luck, I haven't turned them on. Gameplay. No, I've got them on. Okay, good. Keeps warning me. Come on, give me a fine. One time I really want a fine, it's not giving it to me. Oh, and there's a cop. There we go. So I got the fine, as you can see, but I'm still not fatigued. Do you get the idea? Because I took the rest breaks, I'm not fatigued enough to doze off and fall asleep behind the wheel. But I should be taking my mandatory break legally. Not because I'm tired, because I've already rested, but legally I'm not allowed to drive anymore. So in realistic terms, it makes it way more immersive. Again, it's still telling me. So I'm going to now fly back to where I was and get some sleep. Back here. And now to fix the problem, I have to take the mandatory break. And I'll show you how that works. Oops, a bit quick here. Okay. Stop. Enter. Right, now, as you can see, if I take the 10 hour, it means I have now complied. If I decrease that, see, it's saying I'm not complied. Right, so it means that I'll end up getting another fine if I don't comply. So we'll comply so that we don't. And you will see then, because I'm doing the 10 hours, it will advance me 10 hours. So you get the point. So you still have to take your mandatory if you've got both of them activated, just like you would in real life. But you can take rest, which will slightly increase it by that hour or whatever. But you'll still only be able to drive your 14 consecutive. So if you're having a break in between, you get the idea. I don't want to confuse you too much because it can sound confusing. But as you can see there now, I've got 14 hours again. My fatigue is back up because I've done the 10 hours, and away you go. I can, like I say, you can have one or the other. So let's go here, and we'll turn off the rest state simulation.
Food is not meant to be on the ground.
And you'll see now that I just have the 14 hours. Okay, so that means I can drive